Hello everyone, this is Will Brooks and my mission is to make coding fun and easy to learn. In this video, we're going to introduce the on-click button. We're going to find the answer to a coding joke with one click of a button using getElementById and functions. I will explain in a simple and easy way how to do this using examples. But first, on to the coding jokes. Why did the computer show up to work late? It had a hard drive. What did the iPhone say to the other iPhone? It's nice to text you. What is an alien's favorite place on the computer? The space bar. If you know of any other computer or programming jokes that are probably much better than mine, please put them in the comments below because I love jokes no matter how bad they are. And on to coding. First, let's open our text editor. In my case, I'm using an iPad and a Replit as my text editor. So I'm going to say plus new Replit. You can use any text editor that you like. We're going to use HTML, CSS, JS. We're going to change this to, let's see, replace. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, let's change this. I'm just going to call it button 1 because we're going to create buttons today. Button, you can call it anything you want. Button 1. I'm going to create Replit and let's wait for it. Let's wait for our file to open. Come on. Okay, now notice in Replit already has data in the head from 3 to 8. We don't have to worry about that. We're going to go right into the body, right into the meat and potatoes. Right into the body, hit return, and we're going to create a paragraph, okay? That's P, and let's close this. Okay, so we got the opening, closing. Let's hit return, and we're going to put the question to our joke. The question is, why was the computer late for work? So why was the computer late for work? And then we need a question mark. Okay, good. Why was the computer late for work? Excellent. Let's just hit return. Make it easier to see. Let's hit return here. Okay, so now we're going to create a button underneath that. When you click the button, it's going to change the question and it's going to give the answer. And the answer is going to be, it had a hard drive. So in order for the button, when you click it, to recognize where to go, we need to put an ID inside the opening tag of the paragraph. So we're going to click in here. You can see that there. We're going to hit a space, and we're going to type in ID, and we're going to need the ID attribute. And inside the ID, we're going to usually, many people put demo. You can put cat, dog, whatever you want to put in there, as long as you have the same thing in the button tag. I am going to put pizza because I like pizza. Pizza. Okay, we're going to put pizza in there. You can put whatever you want. All right, now we're going to go and have some fun and create our button, our clickable button. Okay, let's do our button tag. So we got the less than sign, and then let's do button, B-U-T-T-O-N. Then we need to do our type. So type. Our type attribute. Now there are 3 types. There's one is button, that's just a clickable button. There's a submit button, which is submit data, and there's a reset button, which resets the data. We're just going to do our plain vanilla button, click here, button. So type equals button, return, and then on click. When you click it, what's going to happen? So on click equals attribute, and then we need quotation mark, and then this time we're going to type in document. Let's go back here. Document dot get element by ID, and it's case sensitive, so make sure you do the E, B, and I in capital letters. So get element by ID. Now the ID, remember, is in line 10. The ID equals pizza. So let's type in pizza again. Now we need a single quote here, and let's type in pizza. And then we need a single quote there, and let's close that. Okay, we're using single quotes because if you notice on line 15, after it says on click equals document, you have a double quote there. So you only use single quotes until you get to the end, and we close it with a double quote. Next, we're gonna do dot inner, and then we're gonna do HTML, and then equals. Okay, so what comes next is what is going to replace the question on line 11 with. So dot inner HTML. So that basically equals what comes next is going to be it had a hard drive. So again, we need that single quote there. It had a hard drive, and let's put a period there. Great. Okay, and then, oh, we need to end it with a single quote, and then you got the double quote there. Okay, so now we're going to close the opening tag of the button right there. Okay, we closed it. Now, in between the opening and closing tag is what the button is actually going to say. So we're going to say, click for answer. Click for answer. Okay, click for answer. So everybody see what we did there? Okay, so let's run it and see what happens. Why was the computer late for work? Click for answer. It had a hard drive. Perfect, it worked. So we created the ID on line 10, and then we kind of linked that ID in line 15 where it says pizza there, okay? So the next thing we're gonna do the same thing. It's gonna create the same result, but we're gonna use function in JavaScript. So stay tuned for the next one coming up right now. We are gonna create a new replet here, and again we're going to use the same amount, same there, and then let's change this. I'm going to just change this to button 2, and we're going to say function. That's what I'm going to call it, button 2 function. Okay, and then let's hit create replet. Let's wait for it in here. So it's going to do the same thing, except we're going to use the function in JavaScript. I'll show you how to use that. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so get right to it. Let's go back down to the body on line 9, hit return. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to create the paragraph, the P. Okay, P, let's close that, and let's enter there, and we're going to do the same question. Why was the computer late for work? Okay, why was the computer late for work? Question mark. Great. And then as we remembered before, let's just do a return. Remembered before in our P, we need to create the ID, right? The ID, so ID equals, quote, and I'm just going to call it pizza. You can call it anything you want, pizza. Great. Okay, now we're going to create our button. I love creating buttons. So let's go down here and let's do the less than sign, and let's, just like before, button, same as we did before. Button, and then type attribute, it's going to be button again. Remember there were 3 of them. Let's hit return on click, just like before. Now, and then equals, and then we're going to need the quotation. Now, this is where it's going to be different. We're going to, here, we're going to say my function. So my function. Okay, and then you need the opening and closing brackets. A lot of people, if there's a mistake, that's where they make the mistake. And that's it, okay? So when you click on the button, it's going to go my function, and now we need to create a JavaScript to say what to do with my function. But first, we need to close this. And let's close this, and we need to tell the button what is the button going to say. We're going to say the same thing. Click for answer. Click for answer. Okay, good. So now let's hit return. Return. Now we're going to make JavaScript here. So we're going to make a script tag, and let's close that. Okay, we got the opening, close. Let's hit return. Okay, so here we're gonna say function space my function. Now it's case sensitive, so you need the capital F there. Function my function, and don't forget we need those brackets, opening, closing bracket. Good. And then we're gonna hit space, so no quotations here at all. Now we're gonna do our curly bracket. Now anything inside the curly bracket there is to be executed. So the function is placed inside the curly brackets. So now what are we gonna say we needed to do? We needed to go to document. Now this is similar to what was before. Document dot get element t element. I always make that mistake there. By ID, and then what did we call it? We called it pizza, right? So we got the brackets there. Now there's nothing in, when you do the script there, we don't have a double quotation there, so we can just do double quotation here. We can say pizza, and then after that we're gonna do, again, let's hit return dot inner HTML equals, and then whatever comes after inner HTML is going to be the answer. So the answer is going to be, we'll do it in quotations, it had a hard drive. Okay, let's put a period there, and then we need to end the script, we need to, JavaScript, we need to do a semicolon. Okay, semicolon right there. Everybody got it? So basically we did a third step here. Instead of just the button like we did in the last one, on click on line 15 equals myFunction. So now we take the JavaScript, and then we need to say what the function is going to do, and it's going to be the same thing. It's going to go back up to pizza. So let's run it. And why was the computer late for work? Click for answer. It had a hard drive. Perfect. Now, what if we want, let's run that again. What if we want the answer to go underneath the question? Well, that's so easy. This is easy, right? So we need to create another paragraph. So let's hit another paragraph. Let's create that, another P. That's great. Right there, P. Let's close that. And let's just leave that the way it is. So we want the answer to go into that second paragraph. So what we need to do is we need to take out the ID on line 10. Let's just get rid of that ID and just leave that. That's not going to change at all. And let's go down to line 14. And in the opening tag, we're going to hit ID like before, ID attribute. We're just going to call that pizza. Okay. And then we are going to hit run. And then click for answer. Boom! Why was the computer late for work? It had a hard drive. See how we did that? Now, what if you want the answer to go after the button? Again, that's easy. All you have to do is go to where the button is, hit return, and then make sure that paragraph is right there. So we're going to hit P. We're going to close that. And then we're going to put the ID here. So we're going to do space ID attribute pizza. And then we're going to just get rid of it right here. We're going to get rid of it there. Whereas before the button, right? Let's get rid of it right there. And then let's hit run. And then let's hit click for answer. Boom, it's right after that. It had a hard drive. Now, like I mentioned before, it doesn't matter what you put here, what you put in the ID equals. Let's say, so if you want to change that, you can change that from pizza to, let's say, dog, okay? And then hit run. Now, be careful. If you click at the dog, you've got to change it not only there, but you've got to change it down here where it says pizza line 23. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So let's change that to dog. And then it should reference there. Let's hit return. Boom, it worked. Perfect. Well, that's all for the tutorial today. I hope you learned something here, how to use a basic button click. And if you learned something today, please hit the like button and subscribe button. And I will be coming up with more videos for you as well. Thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate it. And bye-bye.